Hey, welcome back to the boat build. Today we're going to start putting down some EVA flooring. I think I'm just going to do the casting deck today. I don't have a huge piece. The piece that I got is like 32 square feet, I think. So not really enough to do the boat, but should be enough to do some good parts of it. So the first thing that I've done is I've removed the carpet from the casting deck. That was the first video that you saw. I've removed the hatch that's in the very front of the boat. Made a video on that, on how to remove hatches. And now I've got a few more little things to remove, like that plug for the trolling motor and this stand for the casting seat. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull those off, and I'm gonna leave that there for now. But that one and that one, luckily they're just Phillips heads. Easy peasy. You can see here where I removed the trolling motor plug. It still has some glue residue underneath it. And since I'm not going to use the same style plug, I'm going to clean that off with a wire brush attached to my drill. All clean. See? No more glue residue. Should stick now. I'm not worried about this glue residue as much because I'm going to cut the foam right there for this hatch, for the frame for this hatch. You'll see. And that one I'm not concerned about either, for the same reason that plate is going to go back on. So let's get to measuring. All right, so now got my trusty, dusty Pittsburgh tape measure. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a measurement. I'm going to take a couple of measurements actually. So I'm just going to be doing the casting deck and that front part bulkhead. I don't know. So what I need to do is I need to take a measurement from that edge to that corner. You can't see where I'm pointing. That edge to that corner, and then from that corner all the way doink to here, and add those two together. And then I'm going to find the widest part over here, which would probably be the closest part to the helm, right? The farthest back part of it, because the boat narrows a bit. And then I'm just going to cut out a piece of EVA flooring, that dimension, and then I'm going to trim the rest. So, taking my measurements now. Okay, so I have 15 inches from here to here, and that top piece right there, which I'm going to go ahead and give it a try, that's 1 inch. So I'm at 16 so far for length. And then measuring from there to here, I get 48 inches. So what I say, 16 and 48, 54, 64 inches. I'm going to give myself some leeway, so I'll go 65 inches in length. Then measuring across at the widest point, I'm just under 60 inches. So I'll go ahead and give myself maybe 61 for width. Okay, here's the sheet of flooring that I got, and it is not wide enough to cover the casting deck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off my 65 inches, and then I'm going to kind of piece together the rest of that, and I should have enough to at least do the casting deck with this piece. I'm going to need to buy probably, I don't know, a couple more sheets. Now what I'm doing is I'm coming back to the front, and I'm going to put a mark in the center. So this is 50 inches across, so I'm going to put a mark at 25 inches right there, and I'm going to put a mark in the center of my EVA foam as well, so that way I can line it up, and the first piece that I put is perfectly in the middle. Next thing that I'm going to do, then I've got my measurements done, is I'm going to clean this up really well with some alcohol. I'm using 70%. I've seen people use 99. I decided to use 70 so it wouldn't evaporate quite so quickly. Give me a little bit of time to clean because it is hot out here. It's October and it's a crisp 95 degrees. So I think 70% will do just fine. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the middle 4 feet of this. So it's a lot cleaner now. Hopefully it's clean enough. What I'm going to do is I'm going to peel back the first inch or so of this foam flooring, and I'm going to attach it to the lip. Yoink, right up here. Make sure everything fits perfectly fine, and then I'm going to peel the rest of it and stick it down. Okay, I've got the first piece on, and right now I'm taking my razor blade, my razor knife, and dragging it across this edge as cleanly as I can to get a nice, straight, clean cut right here at the edge of the casting deck. So I've got that all trimmed. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some small strips to fill the voids where I didn't get any yet. All right, so I've got the casting deck completely done out with this yellow camo, and that one sheet that I had that was 4 feet by 8 feet, I believe, pretty much used all of that here. I've got a little piece of scrap left. And it's kind of like my high school girlfriend. It doesn't look too bad if you don't look too close. There's some pieces that you can see, definitely see the seams, like right here. But like I said, if you don't look too close, it doesn't look too bad. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cover off and I'm going to paint it. I'm going to use bed liner to paint it. That is going to get painted as well. It's not riveted in yet. I put this on. I'll show you how to do that whenever I get to it on the other ones. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and paint this with a black bed liner as well, and maybe this seat post, but it should tidy it up a little bit. And then of course I'm not going to leave this bare, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing with that yet, so I'm going to remove that and get to it. First thing I'm going to do in prepping this for paint is this piece has some of these really strange kind of rough marks, like right there. It looks almost as if somebody TIG welded it and then decided to cut it off and bolt it down. It's a factory piece, so that didn't make sense, but that's what it looks like. And I'm going to use an angle grinder with a flap disc to smooth that out. And then next step is I'm going to use a wire brush to clean it up really well. Now that I've taken off all of the heavy debris, and use the wire brush to kind of give it a little bit of a texture, I'm going to clean it up really well with some alcohol and then get to painting. Firstly, I'm going to apply a thin coat of automotive primer. I don't know that it's better than any other primer, but it says it's good for metal, so that's what we're going to use. I'm going to let it set for a few minutes, get tacked up, and then I'll do another coat. First coat of primer. Coat number 2 on the trim piece, and number 1 on the hatch. I'm only going to do one coat on the hatch. I did a little bit thicker, but the hatch is textured, so I don't think it's going to need quite as much primer. I'm going to let these set for about 15 minutes. And as you see, I covered up the EVA flooring that I put on here with some paper towels. In retrospect, I should have painted this prior to doing that. I didn't think it through. Hindsight's 20/20, and this is really more of a documentary than a how-to at this point. So this is how I did it. Maybe paint it first, you know, if you're gonna do it. But okay, so the primer has been curing for a while now. It's good and dry. I'm gonna go ahead and spray on this Herculiner truck bed coating. I've used this stuff before and it's pretty thick. I think one coat will work. Well, let's see. There we go. Both are painted. with the bed liner. It's kind of shiny now because it's wet, but it'll be matte when it's done. And then I've got some clear coat to put on it just for a little bit of extra protection. I really don't want to have to redo this anytime soon. So hopefully this will last. It's starting to get a little bit dark outside now, but last step, I'm going to use this Krylon all-in-one clear coat. It was on sale for $2.19. Pretty good. Pretty good. I bought a few of them. So it's a flat, kind of a matte clear, so it won't have any shine to it. But that's okay. Because the rest of the boat is going to be so bright, I think that it'll actually pop a little bit, being kind of dull. We'll see. If I hate it, I can sand it off. It's not a problem. Now that these parts have been painted with the bed liner and given time to cure and clear coated and everything, I'm going to reinstall them into the boat. This trim goes back here and that hatch goes right there. To reinstall the hatch, I'm using 3/16 by 1/2 inch rivets, a power drill with a 3/16 inch bit, and a rivet gun, riveter, whatever. So I'm having to re-drill these holes because it doesn't line up exactly the same. No problem. Drill the hole. Holes drilled. Stick a rivet. Stick a rivet in the hole. And then grab your rivet gun. Make sure that it's seated all the way. And then, oh, it's hard to do one-handed, but you just squeeze this tool and it'll eventually pop it. And then just repeat that step for all the existing riveting holes. Well, that's it for now. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with the sides yet. I may hit them with that bed liner, give it a little nice textured black paint here, or I may do the EVA foam there as well. I'm not sure, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess. Anyways, this is the end of the video. Hope that helped.